Some stories, they don't just entertain us, they literally build civilizations. And we're about to dive into one of the big ones, an epic journey of a prince who set out to conquer not a kingdom, but the very nature of human suffering itself.
So, where are we getting all this from? Our guide for this explainer is a translation of an ancient text, the Bodhisattva. You can think of it as a biography, an adventure story, and a deep philosophical text all rolled into one. And at its core is this single, totally radical idea that there is a way to end our suffering for good.
This quote, man, it gets right to the heart of the problem our hero is up against. The text basically kicks off by saying, look, as humans, we are constantly being pulled around by our desires, what we see, what we hear, smell, taste, and touch. We're trapped on this frantic, endless ride, right? Well, this story is about one man's search for the reins.
To really get this journey, we have to start where he did. And trust me, he started in a world that was meticulously designed to have absolutely no problems at all.
See, there was a prophecy when he was born. It said the young prince would become one of two things, either a world-conquering king or a world-saving Buddha. His father, the king, was like, nope, he's going to be a king, and that's that. His strategy was actually pretty simple. If the prince never even knew suffering existed, he would never go looking for a way to end it.
So the king built him this perfect bubble. The scripture talks about these incredible palaces for every season, filled with non-stop music and entertainment. But the most important rule was this: anything even remotely unpleasant, old people, sick people, anything that even hinted at life's fragility, was to be kept far, far away. He was living in a state of manufactured perfection.
But you know how it is. No wall, no matter how high, can keep reality out forever. And that door to the gilded cage? It's about to swing wide open.
I want you to just imagine this for a second. Your entire reality consists of only these three things. Everyone you've ever met is young, everyone is healthy, and life is just one long, endless stream of pleasant experiences. This was Siddhartha's whole world.
But then he goes on a chariot ride outside the palace, and according to the story, the gods intervene. They place an old man right in his path. The text describes his head as being like silk snow. The prince, who's never seen anything like this, has to ask his driver, "What is that?" And for the first time, he learns about old age and that it's the eventual fate of every single person.
On another trip out, he sees a sick man, gasping for breath, his body all twisted by disease. And again, he's told, no, this isn't some unique monster. This is sickness, and it's a danger that hangs over every one of us, including you. That first little crack in his perfect world suddenly becomes a massive fracture.
Then comes the final blow. He sees a funeral procession. For the very first time in his life, he comes face to face with the reality of death. He's told that this is it. This is the ultimate end for every living thing, and there's no escape. The palace, the pleasure, the youth, it's all temporary. The illusion just completely shatters.
And for the prince, this isn't just some casual question. It's a full-blown existential crisis. I mean, if life is just a short journey that inevitably ends in decay and being gone forever, then what is the meaning of any of it? The gilded cage that he loved is now a prison, and he has to find the key.
So this crisis sparks a resolution, a powerful one. He can no longer just live a life of distraction. He has to find an answer, even if it means leaving every single thing he knows behind.
He returns to the palace that night, and he looks at all the sleeping musicians and dancers. But where he once saw beauty, he now sees something completely different. He sees temporary bodies in disarray. The scripture says he saw the palace as a cemetery filled with corpses. That paradise had suddenly become a symbol of the very decay he needed to escape.
So his decision is made. He wakes his charioteer, gets on his favorite horse, and just rides away from his kingdom, his wife, his newborn son, everything. And get this, the text says the gods themselves muffled the horse's hooves so no one would hear him neigh. This wasn't just a guy running away from home. In the logic of this epic, it was a world-altering event.
But, escaping the palace, that turned out to be the easy part. The actual search for the truth would be a grueling 6-year ordeal.
So first, he seeks out the most famous meditation teachers of his day. He masters their techniques, but he realizes they only lead to temporary states, not a final answer. So then he tries the total opposite. He joins a group of ascetics, determined to conquer suffering by conquering his own body. He starves himself for years, eating almost nothing, until he's just skin and bones. But that didn't work either. He wasn't any closer to the truth, just a lot closer to death.
And this was the huge insight. His entire life had been an experiment in extremes. Total indulgence in the palace just made him crave more temporary things. An extreme self-denial in the forest just wrecked his body and mind, making real clarity impossible. He realized they were both traps. The real answer had to be a middle way, a path of balance, not extremism.
All right, so he's found the path, now he actually has to walk it. And this leads us to the epic climax of the whole story, the final battle for enlightenment.
He walks to a large Bodhi tree, sits down, and makes this unbreakable vow. This is it. He's either going to find the answer right here, or he's going to die trying. He turns his mind inward, ready for that final confrontation.
And that confrontation comes in the form of a being named Mara. You can think of Mara as the lord of everything that keeps us trapped in that cycle of desire, temptation, distraction, death, the whole shebang. Mara throws everything he has at the prince. Terrifying armies, his own beautiful daughters sent to seduce him, whispers of doubt and failure. But the prince, he doesn't fight back. He just sits, completely unshakable.
His defense was unlike anything you can imagine. The story says Mara's armies unleashed a storm of weapons, rocks, fire. But as they got near the prince, they transformed into a gentle rain of flowers. He wasn't defeating hatred with more force. He was transforming it with his own compassion and wisdom. He was so grounded in reality that Mara's illusions had zero power over him.
With all his weapons used up and all his illusions defeated, Mara just vanishes. The battle is over. And as the morning star rises in the sky, the prince's mind breaks through the final veil of ignorance. He sees the nature of reality with perfect, stunning clarity. In that moment, Prince Siddhartha ceases to exist, and in his place sits the Buddha, the one who is awake.
He had done the impossible. He looked directly at the reality of suffering, found its cause right inside the workings of the mind, and found the way out. But this understanding was so profound, so completely counter to how we all normally see the world, that he actually hesitated. Was it even possible to communicate this to a world still chasing those galloping horses? That question, and his decision to try, is what would end up changing history forever.